Greenland's back on the table again, and we're in 2025. I mean, where do you think this goes?
I mean, President Trump has always used the strategy of blowing up the Overton window to shift everyone's expectations and then get a more extreme result than what people thought possible before, right? Sometimes it's in the form of a threat, like just the tariff idea. I don't think it would be good for America if we wound up having 20% tariffs everywhere. But if it forces Justin Trudeau to resign, that's the point, right? Greenland's the same deal. I don't genuinely, it would be a net benefit to Greenland and probably a net cost to us, because right now Denmark subsidizes the residents of Greenland to like $10,000 a resident per year. And even though we would get, extra lithium, uranium, oil and gas, that's cool. But really the money maker for us is just the military presence and maybe extra access to trade routes. If that's how you get it, good job.
Jason, in this poll, it says 57% of the Greenlanders approve of becoming part of the United States. This is kind of fascinating, these numbers. Who would have thought?
I'm a little skeptical.
Jason's not a believer in polls.
I know.
I'm skeptical of patriot polling in general. Like, I've never heard of that poll. And it can't be that hard to poll almost every Greenlandic citizen. There's like 57,000 of them. So really, you could literally go to every single Greenlandic person. So I don't know how many people they polled or if that's a reputable pollster. But I will
pretend it is. What do you think?
What I will say is we do have a military presence there in Patuxent Space Base. So we already have some sort of a military presence there. I think, I believe in self-determination for the Greenlandic people. If they want to be independent, which they clearly do, they don't want to go from one colonial ruler to another. They might as well just go through and be independent. And of course, they can negotiate a larger military presence from the United States and become a bigger U.S. ally, perhaps. But let them, we honestly don't do well with colonies. And I've said this a million times.
I would take being colonized if I could trade the euro for the greenback. Trading in the world's U.S. dollar, that's it. That's all you need.
We haven't done good with our territories, particularly Puerto Rico, with especially going back to Hurricane Maria, which I think falls at Donald
all the way
Trump's
back there.
Okay, going back to Greenland.
That far
President Trump, and
Ask
Canada.
the people in Puerto Rico. Wasn't that long ago?
You have very corrupt mayors there,
yeah.
but that's a whole different topic we can discuss later.
Yeah, they were skimming all the money and stealing the electricity and botching everything in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And they're Democrats, right?
The $20 billion that they got
guys,
a year of not having electricity.
Okay. Let's get control here.
Everyth's their fault.
Okay. President Trump has also been trolling outgoing Canadian leader Justin Trudeau with calls for Canada becoming the 51st state. This weekend, Trudeau claimed he out-Trumped Trump. I think I'm going to laugh over that one when the two last spoke. Take a listen.
I started to suggest, well, maybe there could be a trade for Vermont or California for certain parts. He immediately decided that it was not that funny anymore, and we moved on to a different conversation. So this isn't out of the blue that he's doing this, but my focus has to be not on something that he's talking about that will not ever happen, but more on something that might well happen.
Loserville there, Justin Trudeau. Foldy, come on, seriously, out of the blue? Like, what are we supposed to do here?
Yeah, I mean, you saw a disgraced former Liberal talking about random things, and then you also saw Jen Psaki on that show. I think he is just auditioning for an MSNBC show that vanishingly few people are going to watch. You will note that Justin Trudeau is making his way ever south, getting closer and closer to Cuba. I don't know what exactly.
Going to find his dad's
I don't know. He's looking for the family roots down there, I guess. Wow. But I think Trump's point to what Tiana was saying, especially with him not being president, right? Remember, we still have a feckless and asleep at the switch president right now. He's been negotiating all of this stuff before he even takes office. And I think he's sort of setting the Overton window such that we don't necessarily need to add another star to the United States flag with Greenland. But we will get, I think, a better position vis-a-vis China and Russia because of this.
Right, but come on, Canada, 51st state, it's a bunch of liberals. That's the last thing we need to add to the United States. I don't know about Greenland, but you know what, Canada, seriously. But all these talks about expansionism, I mean, Chris, I think it's actually, China's doing this all over the globe. They have positioned themselves in Latin America and in Africa and all these different regions.
That's right.
The U.S. has to figure out a way to be strategic from a national security standpoint.
Information, truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.